So then, we'll jump into the next part of what if Ash was spoiling home. So, right after he noticed the climax of Cynthia versus Leon, Ash would go to the PC, knowing that he would need himself at his best if he was going to battle Leon. He would switch his team into what he felt like he could give, what he felt like was his best bet of beating Leon at the time. Send out Houndoom, Leon would send out Aegislash. This would be a very even battle, with Aegislash switching into its like cutting form. I don't know this stuff, but it's agile form, whatever it's called. Aegislash would go full on even with Houndoom, but then Houndoom would launch a fire blast as Aegislash would launch a flash cannon. An explosion would happen, and Houndoom would win. Leon would then send out his Dragon Bolt would be able to stun Houndoom with Shadow Balls and Thunderbolts and Dragon Breaths, which would do a lot of damage. Even though Houndoom would be able to get on a few crunches and flamethrowers, it ultimately wouldn't be much to the pseudo-legendary, which would defeat its opponent with some relative ease. After that, Ash would send out Crobat to combat the pseudo-legend. This would be a very even battle, but Crobat would use Sludge Bomb as, what's it called again? Oh yeah, Dragapult would use Shadow Ball. This would cause an explosion, which would then knock out Dragapult. Since Crobat has a history of, beating pseudo-legendaries, Brendan's Salamence, so basically, yeah. Leon would send out his Haxorus and Crobat would go at it quite evenly, but it'll come to a clash between Air Slash and Dragon Pulse. This would cause a massive explosion, but both Pokemon would still be raring to go. Both Pokemon traded aerial aces and wing attacks, Dragon Pulses and Sludges. This would be a very even battle, but then both Pokemon would charge in. A wing attack for Crobat and a slash for Haxorus. And the winner of that clash would be Haxorus, since it was the bigger Pokemon. After that, Ash would send out Tentacruel. Tentacruel would try its best against Haxorus. It would use Ice-type moves to freeze it, and Poison-type moves to, poison it, and Water-type moves. This would be an even battle with Haxorus responding with, Dragon-type moves and Dragon Claws. But it'll come to a clash between Ice Beam and Dragon Pulse, and will knock both Pokemon out. After that, Ash would send out Heracross as Leon would send out Cybertoad. This would be a fairly even battle, with Heracross using, Horn Attack in response to Poison Jab. Both Pokemon are going at it evenly, with Mega Horn doing a lot of damage to Cybertoad and Surf doing a lot of damage to Heracross. But then, after both Pokemon were done, they would stand there waiting for each other to faint, and then they would both faint from pure exhaustion. After that, Ash would send out Charizard as Leon would send out his Cinderace. This would be a battle of two fighting fire-type champions. This would be the battle of one of the two strongest fire-type starters in my opinion, even though Charizard's overrated. Cinderace would come in for an acrobatics, while Charizard would come in for a wing attack. This would go on evenly for a while, as both Pokemon would attack each other with dynamic punches on Ash's side and, feints on Leon's side. Both Pokemon would be tired. But it will come down to a clash between a fire blast and a pyro ball. It will be a massive struggle. But then it will be that both attacks would go through each other and hit both Pokemon, which would cause Cinderace to faint as Charizard would still left be standing. Then would then send out his own Charizard. But Ash would notice that Leon's Charizard was slightly bigger and looked stronger with more muscle mass, and it looked more experienced. Charizard would try use dynamic punches and wing attacks, but won't do much. And the more experienced Leon's Charizard would just use like a few flamethrowers, and it was over for Ash's. After that, Ash would send out Aggron. And now this is when the real battle will begin. Both Pokemon will go at it evenly. Metal Claw clash with Thunder Punch. Both trainers going at it evenly. Both trainers pushing hard. Charizard would use a flamethrower as Aggron would avoid and hit with an Iron Tail, which wouldn't do much. But Charizard would respond with a flamethrower, which would do a lot of damage. This would go on for a while. Then, like it was Destiny, or it was synergized, both mechanics of trainers and Pokemon will begin reacting. For Ash, it would be Mega Evolution, and for Leon, it would be Gigantamax. Leon would Gigantamax his Charizard as Ash would Mega Evolve Aggron. And then, this would become a battle of mechanics in a way. Aggron would use a Metal Claw, which wouldn't do much to Charizard, but Charizard with its massive size would be able to use its Gigantamax Flame move, which would do a lot of damage to Aggron, but Aggron would be able to respond with a Rock Slide, which would do a lot of damage back to Charizard. Both Pokemon would have a very close battle, with Metal Claws being traded all over with Metal Claws being traded with G-Max electric moves and all that stuff. But then it'll come down to when both Pokemon get hit with a Rock Slide. With Aggron hitting with a Rock Slide and Charizard hitting with a G-Max Wildfire. There'll be a huge explosion. But then it will be a decisive win, a decisive but hard win for G-Max Charizard, as it would barely be standing, which would shock Leon, as nobody had ever pushed him this far, and he'd be shocked that Charizard had never actually been this tired or almost defeated before. But then Ash would not be annoyed in the slightest at this loss, as he'd be like, I went up against the world champion, for Christ's sakes. I shouldn't be disappointed that I lost. I should be happy that I put up such a good fight. As then, both trainers would shake each other's hands and would compliment each other. As Ash would say, wow, you really do deserve your title as world champion. As Leon would say, wow, you really are a strong trainer. Nobody's ever pushed me that far before. No wonder you beat Steven with such ease and precision. As then, Leon will be crowned the champion of all champions and the #1 trainer in the entire, like officially the #1 trainer ever, if we ignore the World Coronation Series, because the champions are the strongest in their region. So yeah. I will return to Hoenn. Professor Birch, his mum, and the two former champions, Wallace and Steven, will be there waiting for him. They would congratulate Ash on the win. I would be very happy. I would say, wow, you've represented Hoenn very well. And they would give him like a badge of honor. Yeah. I don't know, I just put that there because I feel like Ash would get a reward for representing Hoenn so well. And they would thank him. Everyone else would leave except Professor Birch. And Ash would ask him, what do I do next? Then Professor Birch would say, wow, I think you should travel to a region called you know, as then he would show Ash the map and Ash would think about it. Wow, I know this part was shorter than usual, but just trying to wrap up the champion tournament arc. Wow, I've had a lot of fun making this part and this series in general. I'm going to continue it, and I've had a lot of fun, so goodbye.